guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a pulled face pumpkin situation. So half my face is a pumpkin, half my face is a human, and if I put my fingers here and here, it looks like I'm pulling my face open. Ah! So that's what we're doing today. It's really easy, I promise. It's a fun optical illusion to trick all of your friends. This it's Halloween season of tricks and treats. So if you want to see how to do this look, please keep watching. Alright guys, so today I am starting with a little eyebrow pencil in light brown to kind of sketch out what I'm doing on my face. I wanted to make sure that the wrinkles looked authentic and that I had everything in place before I started filling it in with paint. I used this particular pencil because it's going to be very easily covered up by paint. You can't see it very much. It's just enough so that I can sketch in my lines and I don't have to worry about not being symmetrical or things not turning out the way I wanted to because I've already got it laid down on my face. So this particular pencil is Eyler in medium brown. It's a brow pencil. Obviously I'm not using it as a brow pencil, so it's fine. Now I'm going to be starting to sketch out well, I guess I'm still doing wrinkles. Just buffing that out. If you make a mistake, it's great because this is very easily buffed out with a beauty blender, so you don't have to worry about that being stuck underneath the paint. It's also going to be completely covered by it, so you don't have to buff it out anyways. Next, we're going to do the jack-o'-lantern eyes. It's just a triangle, and you're going to fill the whole thing in with black. For the jack-o'-lantern pieces, you really are just going to be filling everything in black, so it can be a very rough sketch. Don't really have to worry about being too precise. I started smaller and then ended up including my nostrils in this nose. Next, we're going to go in with the mouth. Make sure that you are carving out the teeth, and don't forget to do that, because jack-o'-lanterns have scraggly teeth, so you want to make sure that you are doing those teeth. And when you're doing this mouth, make sure that you're covering your entire mouth, because if it's covered in black, then you'll have an easier time covering up the curvature of your mouth. Next, we're using the Bare Minerals Contour Palette to kind of create some depth to these wrinkles and add just a little bit of shading underneath each of the lines that you drew so that it really will look like you're pulling your skin up here. You don't want it to just be lines, they aren't 3D at all. So adding that dimension and shadow is really going to be a game changer when it comes to applying, no, not applying, what am I saying? It's going to be a game changer when it comes to making your art look realistic. At the end of the day, you want your facial illusions to look as real as possible so they actually trick people into thinking their eyes are playing tricks on them. I can't speak tonight. It's late, guys, okay? Next, I am going in with a little bit of white paint on top to create a highlight over these wrinkles. This is basically just going to go right along with those shadows and creating this 3D look, like your skin is wrinkling up there and not just having lines on your face. So it's just serving the same purpose as the shading underneath, just highlighting the lines on your face. You're also going to take that white paint with, along the line that you created going down your nose as well, because that would also have some light shining on it, because it will still be a little bit puckered too. So put the highlights in the wrinkles and the highlights on the line going down your face. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of foundation and just go in between those lines, because I took the shading down just a little too far and lost some of that definition between the lines. So I just took a little bit of foundation on that same brush that I was using, and I continued to just put that in there so that I kept the definition between those lines and the wrinkles stayed not looking muddy. And just double check every couple minutes to make sure that your lines are looking good. I kept looking over in my mirror and putting my fingers where they would be when I'm taking my picture so that I made sure that the entire time that I was doing these, I was able to still keep the illusion that my skin was being peeled back and dance a little bit while you're at it. Next, we're going to be mixing the Ben Nye cream paints in yellow and blood red to create an orange paint. And you're going to start to paint your entire face. If you have water-based paints, I highly, highly recommend using an orange water-based paint instead of an orange cream paint. I did not have the water-based paint, so I used cream paint. It's honestly just a real pain to use this, simply because you're going to be putting black over top of this orange, and because it's cream, it's never going to fully dry down, and you're going to struggle with keeping the black lines that we put on later defined and not allowing them to muddy into that orange. Unfortunately, some of my lines I felt were a little bit muddy because this was cream. I honestly couldn't do much about it because of the fact that I didn't have any water-based orange paints, but if you do have those available, use those instead so that when it dries down, you can paint the black over top of it without it blending into the orange and creating kind of a muddy brown effect. So now we're going to go in with black, and I am using the Makeup Forever Flash palette for that black, and I am going to go ahead and start carving in that eye. You want to make sure the point at the top is pretty defined, or else it kind of gets lost in the eyebrow and it doesn't really look like a triangle anymore. So just make sure that you're keeping your lines as straight as possible and the points of the triangle as pointy as possible, just so that when people are looking at your eye, it doesn't look like a black muddied mess and it looks really like a defined triangle as you would typically see in a jack-o'-lantern. And you also want to get as close as possible to your eye waterline so that it looks black the whole way through, and when you open your eyes, all you see is the white part and not space underneath your eye where it should be painted black. Continuing on, we are going to be filling the nose in. I didn't do a full triangle. I thought it looked a little bit better if I added some detail and kind of made it jagged at the top instead of just a plain triangle, and I like the way it turned out. So you can do that too, or you can do a regular triangle, whatever you want. For the mouth, if I were doing this again, I would make that smile just a little thicker because I think it kind of got a little wimpy and a little too skinny, but you know, hindsight's 20/20, so do with that what you will. But I do think just make sure, just like the eye here, you want to be as sharp as humanly possible with those lines so that they look like they were actually carved with a knife into your face. And use as dark a black as you possibly can. I really like that Makeup Forever black, but if you have something darker, that can be even better. Just something that doesn't look gray. You really want it to be truly, truly black. When going around your mouth, it can be hard to get a straight line because your lips are naturally curved. Just do your best. You can extend it a little bit more towards your chin. That way you have more of a flat surface to work on. Working on the curves of my lips was really kind of difficult to do. So if you just extend it a tiny bit down your chin, you have a much flatter surface area to work with, and it's a lot easier to create pointy, sharp edges and allow it to look more like a jack-o'-lantern. Here is where we are going in on the orange with these stripes. So I'm just dipping into that same black paint that we used before from the Flash palette, and I'm just dragging it down my jack-o'-lantern to kind of create those pumpkin-y lines. You are going to go in later and really kind of define the lines around each of the black areas, the mouth, the nose, and the eye, so that you can look like you're kind of melting from the black into the orange. But as you can see, that orange kind of drags into the black paint every time I put it through the orange and then the black. So that's why I would suggest, if you have it, using water-based paint. If you don't have water-based paint, it's okay though. I made it work. You can make it work too. But don't be precise with these lines. They should be really ununiform, really jagged. Now here you can see where we're starting to kind of define the lines that are coming out from the eye here to create the illusion that it is bleeding out from the eye into the orange, and it just, I don't know, it just looks better, right? I don't know, it doesn't look as elementary. It just kind of makes it look a little bit more professional, like you put a little bit more time into it, because you did. But I like the way that it looks like it's kind of bleeding into the orange. Just makes it creepier. And you know, it is Halloween, so I think we should all strive to be creepier. Year-round even. Just add that extra creep factor. Try not to get too far into your actual skin part because it is kind of hard to take that black away once it gets onto the skin. You're going to be doing this method over and over again, just from the black into the orange, thicker strokes, and very ununiform. And just go from the mouth. I would go up when you're doing the top level, just pull your brush up, and I would stroke down when you're doing the bottom. It's easier because you want the end of those little flick motions that you're doing to be the skinniest and the lines closest to the mouth to be thick. So if you drag from the, I'm sure you just heard my cats clatter all over the place, but if you drag from the bottom up on that top part of the mouth, it will make a thick to thin line, and same if you drag from the bottom down, if you make a, if you drag from the bottom down on the bottom part of that mouth. There, I'm just trying to get as close as I can to that water line. I don't know why I did a weird sway thing there. We're just going to roll with it. Also, I realized my ear looks kind of funny, so you can go ahead and paint your ear to match your orange side of your face. You can also paint your neck if you are into that. Do it. Yeah, we're pretty close to being done here. All you have left to do is make sure you didn't drag too much orange into your black, and I am going over the black that I did because I felt like it just needed to be a little bit darker with the Sephora cream lip stain in black, and just because I know that it dries down pretty matte, so when I rub my lips together it doesn't mess up the orange part, and it looked, just added that extra depth I needed because the black that I used wasn't quite dark enough. So find a really, really dark black when you're doing this. Like I said, liquid lipstick works great. It's easily paintable. And if not, use your cream paints. You can always make them work. And I hope that you enjoy this tutorial.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my stretched face pumpkin look. I hope you liked it. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. Please tag me on Instagram if you decide to recreate this look or any of my Halloween looks this year. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It's right down there. Just press it. And be sure to follow along with the rest of my 100 Days of Makeup, which ends on October 31st on Twitter or Facebook. I will leave my handles in the description below so that you can check that out. And have an awesome rest of your week, guys. I'll be back at you with another Halloween tutorial on Thursday. See you guys later. Bye.